What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and happy 2026. My name is Luke and I'm coming back this year with more reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Primate. So this movie actually drops later this week, but I got to see it on January 5th at the Secret Movie. I believe this was shown at all major theaters, Cinemark, AMC, and probably Regal as well. And I'd say, like, when I first saw this trailer for what it showed, I was, a little skeptical always, and, never know with January releases, but this is a movie I quite enjoyed. So before we get into this movie, I did look up a little bit around the cast and crew and found that the director of this worked on one of the Resident Evil reboots, the Welcome to Raccoon City. He also worked on the 47 Meter Down movies, as well as one of the Strangers sequels as well. And most of those movies I'd seen, especially when it came to like the Resident Evil reboot, I'm very iffy on that one. I think there's a lot of things in it I did enjoy from like comparing it to like the video games, but the movie as a whole, I had to watch it a couple of times to really sink my teeth around it. So seeing that, was quite surprising because Primate is one I actually enjoyed going into this. So let's get into the movie Primate. So what's great about this movie is it is a R-rated horror movie that sits in just under 90 minutes. I mean, this does not waste any time. This goes right into what you're going to get into, and that's what I really enjoyed, because the opening scenes for a lot of these movies can make it or break it, and this is one where you almost think that it's going to be, oh great, another like animal-based horror movie and they're going to keep everything kind of hidden off screen, but no, I mean, this kind of shows you what you're going to get into. So it's definitely one of those movies where within the first 5-10 minutes, like, you kind of get the picture of what this journey you're about to go through, and it's really one of those like, all right, I'm on board, let's see where this goes. So the movie primarily follows Lucy. She is on her way back home with a couple of friends to spend some time with her dad and sister. Once we get there, we kind of learn a little bit about the dynamic of the relationships. The dad, he is deaf. He's also an author who is currently on a tour working to try to turn his book into a movie. So we know that, through their lifestyle, the dad is constantly busy. He's not been around, and we see some friction there between the characters. Also, they live like, in Hawaii, I believe, in a massive mansion, which is like insane. And like when you see, the aerial footage of this place, it looks crazy. And just know that, the bulk of this movie does take place in this one location, which is one thing I really enjoy if you listen to my past reviews. Another thing to note is a lot of this movie does take place during the nighttime. So if you're going to wait to watch this movie, be sure to watch it at nighttime. You don't need sunlight hitting your TV screens because it's just going to blow everything out. And especially if you're seeing this on an older theater, you may not get the best experience. So if you have a newer theater, be sure to watch this because like it's gonna pop for sure and really stand out. So getting into the main characters, we know that we have our sisters here with some of her friends and one of their brothers that's kind of hanging around as well, and then we eventually meet Ben, who is their chimpanzee brother. You get a little bit of backstory there, so be sure to pay attention to those details. But once you kind of understand the characters, the rest of the story is pretty simple. Ben basically gets rabies, and it becomes this standoff of these kids along with this chimpanzee, since the dad has left them for a couple of days to go on his book tour and work through his meetings. And so now we're in this singular location with this raging chimpanzee, and it becomes this, battle of like, how are we going to survive? And the way this movie played with each room and the characters and how it kind of fits in humor here and there worked really well for me. There are a couple of moments where I was just beyond stressed with the things that this chimpanzee was doing to these people. But then when you throw in the little humor, it kind of lightens things up. But I will say, this movie doesn't hold back. This is a pretty brutal movie, and the kills are widely insane. There was a couple of people that showed up to my screening late, so they missed that opening sequence to really know what they were getting into. But when the second kill happened, they were basically like, nope, I'm not doing this, and they just got up and left, which was like crazy. And then a couple other people like walked out before the movie ended, which I thought was wild. But I had a blast watching this, and especially watching this with other people, and just kind of as tense as this movie is, and the stress that it gives you, makes it pretty for a fun watch, because everyone is just like being very vocal, and like it's one of those like great theater watches, especially with multiple people. When it comes to the chimpanzee, whatever they did, I was thoroughly impressed by. It sounds like they did a mix of practical effects with some CGI, but there wasn't much I could really tell or anything that really stood out to me that this was like a fake chimpanzee. So kudos to the team for the work that they did on this, as well as everything else. You know, when it comes to like just the story and the characters, you know, this does, you know, it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's very easy to follow. Yeah, these characters make some pretty dumb decisions. There's one moment in particular I was very curious that they'd follow up on, which they didn't. So, you know, I was a little disappointed there to see like where this could have led. But I think, you know, for a R-rated horror movie that goes this hard for under 90 minutes, it was quite an enjoyable watch. And especially being a January release, like quite impressed. So excited for this year already, and can't wait to see more movies. So Primate, it is dropping in theaters this weekend. So I'm recording this on Tuesday, January 6th, so it'll be out later this week. So be sure to check it out in your theater if you can, and let me know in the comments, what did you think of this movie? Are you a fan of any of this director's other work? Also, when it comes to the cast, you know, the main actor, Lucy, she looked familiar, but I haven't looked up to see what else she was in. But the rest of the cast, you know, for what they did, being people I didn't recognize, I thought they did a pretty decent job at what they were given. And yeah, so Primate, check it out. I highly recommend. It's a fun theater watch. Thanks so much for spending the time to listen to my review on Primate. If you're new here, be sure to leave a comment, say hi. Would love to chat with you. Also, be sure to subscribe. It helps out the channel and the algorithm and all those good things. Check out the description as well, because I always put in links for other things that I work on. I have a Marvel-based podcast. We put out a weekly episode. I'm also an app developer, and I've got a number of apps in the App Store, and so that's another way to support me and this channel. So be sure to check those out. All right, hope everyone has a great week. We'll see you again soon with more reviews.